Good morning, chefs. Welcome to this episode. This is episode 15 of The Kitchen. In this episode, we're actually going back to the Written by You series, and we're talking about dropping the ball. Yep, so many times we've talked about clients dropping the ball, weird revisions, strange requests, but this time, we're actually going to take some time to reflect on our own times we have dropped the ball as vendors. We talk about breaking gear. In fact, Jake and I are going to talk about this quite a bit.
Yeah, Nate and I included here.
Both of us, our own times we have dropped the ball, plus batteries not being charged, shots not being gotten, all sorts of things. So this is a really fun one. Hope you enjoy this one. But without further ado, let's cook.
Living in a daydream. Ooh, such a sweet thing. Life on the big screen. It's such a beautiful scene, yeah.
What's up, kitchen?
What's up, Jacob?
Man, we are halfway through January.
We sure are.
What a month. What a year it's been.
Man,
Huh?
can we talk about how fast 2023 went? Crazy.
It was a blur. It really was. 1 year ago, we were releasing Premiere Pro.
Wow. Yeah, almost to
delivering
the
Austin
date.
and Amanda's video.
Wow.
It's wild.
That was Amanda and Austin?
Yeah, it feels like it was like yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
So weird.
Everything since COVID, every year since COVID has just been a complete blur.
It's been almost 4 years since COVID.
Crazy. How's it?
4 years ago, next month, we were filming Emma and Wade's Phoenix wedding with Courtney.
You're kidding me.
That was the month before COVID.
It was that
and we
long
went to
ago.
Hawaii, and that's when the world shut down.
You almost
times.
got stuck in Hawaii just building a brand new house.
Yeah,
Crazy.
with you and Spencer. Would have been wild. Would have probably killed you both.
Yeah. I still have a core
One
memory.
before the other.
I still have a core memory of that trip, and it was running to the ice cream truck. Do you remember that?
At Golden Hour.
Yeah, golden hour. It was. I think it had just got done like sprinkling, and it was just beautiful
Yeah, we were in an
Hawaiian sunset.
Airbnb.
Oh,
Yeah.
we heard the ice cream truck. We just
Three
started
guys
sprinting
sitting there. Yep.
through the tropics.
Wild.
Crazy.
Those
It's been
were
that
so
long.
fun. Yeah. Here we are 4 years later recording podcasts.
Ah, look at us. We're those guys in our late 20s, which, yeah, next month, Jacob, we will both be 28.
Late 20s. Yeah. 28.
Crazy.
Have a birthday episode. I just throw cake at each other.
In studio.
I do want to do an episode where we're actually in a kitchen.
Why don't we do it in your kitchen? You
Like-
got a nice kitchen.
We should do it in my kitchen. And I also still want to do it. My
The
backyard
brisket?
is just like
Yeah.
8 to 10 inches of snow right now. I want us to just get bundled up in like snow gear
Oh,
with
man.
microphones and literally just sit in snow and have a podcast.
We should just put on ski goggles just because.
It'd be hilarious. I'd be down. I'd be down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, January's been good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a crazy year. A lot of goals. A lot to do.
Yep,
But we are back with, once again, Written by You,
we are.
where we've asked you guys to submit your stories. You have, and we have some hilarious stories this week about you dropping the ball. I'm not really sure what we're gonna call this episode.
You
It
done
could be
messed
you done
up,
messed
Aaron.
Could be drop the ball, could be dropping the, I don't know. We'll see what it's called, but we wanted to say, like, you know what, we've been bashing on other people. Let's actually have a time for you guys to bash on
Yeah.
yourselves. The way I do mentally.
self-loathing.
24/7. Yeah. So in these stories, we have a lot of them. Times where you dropped the ball, messed up, ruined someone's special day, or potentially just, we actually just did this. I don't even know if I want to admit it publicly yet.
We did.
It's still too fresh. We'll wait till the client is okay with everything first.
Just
and then
whisper it.
I'll speak about it one day.
Whisper it.
Yeah, but you guys, as always, if you want to submit your stories completely anonymously, meaning we do not know who submits these stories, we'll link that below. We'd love to hear from you.
Should we kick it off with the first one here? Or were you about to say something?
Should I? It's going to be a long one.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
If you want to like tag
I'll do
team
it.
and pass the baton halfway through, I don't know.
I'll do it,
Okay,
Nathan.
you do it.
I'll do it.
You do it.
You have a long one after me, though.
Man.
These are long
People
ones.
have
I think
really
it's because
dropped
we
the
always
ball.
have to they have to like explain themselves a little bit too much. Like don't shoot the messenger. It's like, no, you messed up.
If it was the other way around, talking about like a client, it's just no backstory at all.
Yeah.
But we have to defend
They
ourselves.
sucked.
They did this.
Like, well, in my defense.
Yeah, this is about to be a whole backstory here. Yeah,
right.
kick it off.
So-
kick it off.
From a videographer. I did a wedding out of state, so I charged all my batteries and stuff the night before the wedding, but for some reason, nothing charged. I think the hotel outlets didn't work, but I didn't notice until I arrived at the venue. It was about 20 minutes before we started shooting, so I started scrambling to find an outlet to charge just my main camera because the only charger I had on me. It doesn't help that it was a super spread out venue, so I had to walk, aka run, a long ways to get to the charging batteries from wherever I was throughout the day. Well, I thought my half-dead battery could last through the ceremony, so I didn't bother switching it out before it started. It died about halfway through the ceremony. I still had 2 tripod cams going, but I had no idea what to do. I was panicking. So I just filmed the kiss and aisle walk from the side on my tripod cam.
No, do I?
Do I just film the kiss and aisle walk from the side on my tripod cam? Do I try to get the charging battery from across the venue? I did neither of those things, and instead picked up the tripod, legs fully extended, and walked down the aisle with it. Oh, and not to mention, it was a 7200, so super close and shaky, so I had to back way the hell up. The photographer had no idea what I was doing, and since she couldn't see me, stepped right in front of me for the kiss at the end of the aisle. I never have been more stressed, and both the bride and planner could tell and knew that I messed up, so it was a little awkward the rest of the day. Needless to say, I spent extra time on the edit making it as perfect as possible so I could make up for my stupidity, and it was a great video. The couple actually loved it. The moral of the story is not to stress about things you may have messed up on. You can fix a lot in the edit, and the couple will probably love it either way.
I do like the
I
positive
just
ending
feel
note.
the stress. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel stressed. I get sweaty hearing that because I can just imagine myself in that scenario. What do I do? What do I do?
Yeah.
So here's what I would do. Okay. Well, first of all, nothing charged. Your phone probably charged. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nate and I don't charge anything until we arrive at the wedding. It's probably a bad habit, but we bring all of our chargers and our batteries to the hotel room the night before, and that's our charging time. And we don't go to sleep until everything is being charged.
Isn't that,
right?
that's what this person did though, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Out of state.
but they claimed that the outlet wasn't working. But it's like, well, you probably charge your phone, so
Something
either
worked,
way,
yeah.
we always check. It's not charging until I visually see that it's charging because of this exact.
And
story,
most batteries
which I promise
have
you,
the charging progression, right?
and I promise you, this videographer will never ever make that mistake again.
Never.
That is a horror story that you'll learn from forever. Second thing, okay, battery dies during the ceremony. What do you do? Luckily, your 2 side cameras are working, and in my opinion, you have 2 options. And I don't feel like we've purposely done this before, but we've done this type of shot before where we put the tripod at the back of the ceremony, kind of to the left, kind of shooting at an angle over the crowd's head. So that way the photographer doesn't step into your shot in the aisle and you still get the first kiss. It's a beautiful shot. Usually we'll use that shot actually.
Yeah.
Love that shot.
Yeah.
Second option, put it kind of in the aisle on the side and just tell the photographer, hey, tripod's in the back, just stay on the right side of the aisle. We're all good. Third option is to just go handheld and just put whatever lens was on your dead camera onto your side camera and just go handheld and just do the ninja walk and warp stabilize in post. I feel like those are your 3 main options there.
Yeah, I agree. I think what I would do, probably what we would do, is
Yeah.
we would have that safety angle because we always preach have a safety angle regardless if you have 2,
And he did.
3,
They did.
10 cameras. Have one camera that's rolling from beginning to end, never changes angles. If all else fails, you have that. So with 2 cameras, you can still set up that one. And then that other one, we would probably just, when the groom is talking, we'd probably set it up on the groom. And then we would move it to the bride when the bride is talking, set it up for her reading her vows. And yeah, we might break out our phones, honestly. Why not?
Honestly, yeah.
Why not?
As a last resort. And something that Nate and I have been doing, or Nate mainly, is he's been carrying a little shoulder pack that has a spare battery at all times. And maybe you just couldn't do that because they were charging, but just because we don't want to have to. Sometimes the venue you have to run all the way across to get like your light stand or your battery. So now we just have like a little, very modest, it looks very professional shoulder pack, fanny pack, basic. It's very small, holds a couple batteries, maybe a card holder. And that way it's kind of our go bag, so Nate can just grab an extra battery if needed for one of us to swap out. But either way, rule of thumb, even with a half charge battery, we never start a ceremony without a fully charged battery.
Right.
And it sounds like you just didn't have that option.
Yep.
But
another reason to have a second shooter. You just got to have it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're filming.
Yeah.
You could just say, hey, I need you to book it and get a battery.
Yeah. Which we've done before with lights.
We do it a lot.
Speaking of Emma and Wade, 4 years ago, one time we didn't charge our light batteries. And so I had brought the charger to the venue, and I said, Nate, throw us on the charger. We need it for the reception. He did.
Sure did.
And then I go to get it right before the speeches start. And you know how the battery has to click into the charger? You can put it down, but it needs to click into those little slots. It wasn't clicked in, so it was fully dead.
Wow, I'm surprised you remember that. I am surprised you remember
about it every
that.
time.
Wow.
Every time I get in an argument, I want to bring it up, but I
Still haven't let go.
Yeah. But I mean, the best part of the story is that the most important thing is that you have to be able to fix it in post.
Yeah.
It sounds like you did, and the couple loved it.
Yeah.
Also in those situations, I think it is important to not show stress.
Right.
Because you said the planner and the couple noticed it. Even if my camera died and, you got very professionally just adapt and problem solve and not let your problems be the couple's
Just
problems.
cool as a cucumber.
Yeah. Which is hard to do.
Very hard, especially.
When you know you're stressed and potentially effing up, but like at the end of the day, you do got to remain calm, problem solve, and move on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they did a good job. I love how they put it in all caps.
Absolutely.
I picked up the tripod, legs fully extended, and walked down the aisle. Didn't even have time.
I would have gone handheld.
Yeah, handheld 100%. We still, you could just tell how stressed they were because
I'm just picturing these tripods.
because that first kiss happened and then they started walking down. Didn't even have time. Just the whole tripod.
Yeah,
you gotta love gotta love it though. Good job.
That's a good one.
Great attitude about fixing it in post. Glad the couple was happy with it. Sounds like a cool couple.
Honestly, props to them. Huge props.
Yeah.
For taking a mistake, bad luck, and then just adapting the best.
Yeah, and you'll never make the same mistake. You always will check your
Yeah.
batteries before.
Oh, I promise you,
yeah.
we can DM that person and they'll say, I've never, ever done that again.
Yep. All right. Let's move on to the second, shall we? Let's go.
you.
All right. This one says, this is from a videographer. It says, my very first wedding, and I just got these new lav mics and studied hours of footage on YouTube how to use them. I felt pretty confident going into the wedding day with them, but fast forward and it's time to mic everyone up, and well, my mics would not pair. I had the Rode Mic 2 Pros, so a receiver and 2 wireless mics. They, for some reason, would not pair. Granted, I practiced a gazillion times with them prior, but for some reason, when I needed them, they wouldn't work. I know, rookie mistake, but I was and I still am very green to the wedding world. Panic mode had set in at this point, and being my first wedding, I didn't know what to do. So, unfortunately, I had to get as close as possible with a shotgun mic to capture any sort of audio. Boy, oh boy, was it fun trying to salvage any audio from the ceremony. Signed, a very stressed and tired video guy. Yeah. In our
audio is a whole new world.
It is, and in our audio course, we actually talk about this. They are. Don't get me wrong; those Rode Wireless Go mics, they are fantastic. They are great, but not for wedding videographers because we need something
reliable.
Yeah, we
though.
need something reliable. If you're a content creator, if you're a vlogger, you're running gun.
Yeah.
Sure, they are great. Absolutely, get those. Get the
Fantastic.
little DJI mics. But anything with wireless transmission, no.
It's just a whole
Right.
new aspect.
Right. Yeah. Do you do you remember when we were in California and we had that issue with the ceremony?
Yeah. Speaking of dropping the ball,
Let's talk about one of our drop.
I'll say it. I'll tell the story. Sydney and Nick, if you're hearing the story, if you're
5 years
our
later,
client Sydney and
we're
Nick,
sorry.
you'll know what happened on this fateful day.
And-
So during their ceremony,
No.
were
Let me
filming
preface
behind the
this. Let me
scenes.
preface this with Jake got a DJ fired. A DJ is no longer in business. He works a 9 to 5 now as an accountant.
maybe, probably. Potentially.
probably doesn't like.
We don't know for sure.
But I can
Nate's connecting
expect
some dots
that he lost his job after this.
Nate's pushing a narrative that may or may not be true at all.
But probably is. Okay, go ahead.
I'm actually going to send our editor a reel I made of this moment because, anyway, so we were filming a job shadow for this wedding, one of our favorite weddings, best couple, beautiful ceremony. It was just gorgeous. But we were doing behind the scenes during the ceremony. Our couple was task cammed up, so no wireless. It was just recorders, no interference. But I was using a Sennheiser for my behind the scenes mic. The Sennheiser is a wireless signal, and we hadn't done channel testing because, long story short, the DJ's system was also wireless. So anyway, so throughout the ceremony, the DJ's system kept going in and out, and he couldn't figure it out because he had done tests. It was flawless. It was working great. Ceremony starts. I'm right there in the ceremony. His audio keeps on going in and out, like blatantly. It was one of those venues where there's a fountain in the back of the venue, so you couldn't hear it unless the speakers were going. And so, honestly, the guests didn't understand what was going on.
Everyone turning around, looking at the DJ.
Oh, yeah.
Very uncomfortable.
And the groom was visibly pissed.
Yeah.
After the ceremony, after the first kiss, the groom comes up to me. He's like, "What the F just happened?" And I was like, "Bro,
that
DJ. Don't even worry about it." Yeah, I was like, "That DJ system sucks."
That guy doesn't know what he's doing.
I was like, "But we got it." I was like, "Don't even worry about it. We had you mic'd up as backups. That's why we do these backups, because that happens. The DJs just usually suck." I was like, "But don't worry, we got it." And we did. We got the audio because we had task cams on them. And I used that in the job shadow as a point to say, you can never trust a DJ, always have backups, like yada, yada, yada. And then I was just like, as I was editing, I was just kind of thinking, I was like, because our Sennheiser in the job shadow, the audio was kind of going in and out during that part of the video. And I was like, and it just hit me. I was like, I was
the problem.
My mic was interfering with his system, and it ruined the entire wedding ceremony. And I was blaming everyone but myself.
Yep.
So I dropped the ball.
And he got fired, and he's living in the streets. Probably.
He got chewed out.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. And then
they were mad at him.
Yeah. And then you made the whole tutorial.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. That guy didn't know what he was doing. But
I mean, you could point fingers. He could have had a better system that wouldn't have interfered. But at the end of the day, it definitely was my wireless system that interfered. And I did do a channel.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, the channel checks or whatever.
Yeah. I wonder if he had just never been in that situation of seeing, hey, those videographers have a wireless mic on their cameras. It's probably interfering. I don't know. We had never come across something like that. So it took us by surprise.
I don't think I even used the Sennheiser since because it was so scarring.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that was very.
But I know how to fix it now. You just got to do the channel checks. But I just didn't. Audio is just a whole new world. You got to be prepared. I think my first wedding, like this videographer, I was using Sennheisers because I was borrowing them from Parker, and they just it was interfering. So I just turned them off, and I just had my shotgun mic, and I was literally on the front row, kneeling down, capturing audio.
Right.
It is what it is. That was before Adobe AI Podcaster, so it sounded like garbage.
Yeah, just don't use wireless mics on the day of the wedding. Just too many variables. And I think
unless you're very proficient in that world, which a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Unless you're KEJ or Justin Porter, who actually lives and breathes that stuff, don't even, or at least pay for a mentorship call with one of those people first, so you know exactly what to do. And I think, and to this point, audio regardless, Nate and I are big believers that it's not enough to know how to do something. You got to know how to problem solve anything that could go wrong as well. So if you get a new piece of gear and you think I learned how to use this. I watched a YouTube tutorial. I know how to turn it on and have it go. That's even less important than knowing what do you do when this happens? Right. Because if you don't know how to fix the problem, then your gear is useless. Another example of Nate and I is Nate borrowed an 85 from me 7 years ago. And he gave it back. It was an EF85. and I shook it and it sounded broken. And I was like, "What the hell? You broke my 85." He's like, "Oh,
I'm sorry. You'll fix it."
So I sent it into Canon, and they sent it back like, "Idiot! It's not broken. If you detach it while image stabilization is turned on, it will sound. You'll hear it
that rattle,
the IS moving around. And so if you put it back on the camera and just flip that switch and then turn off the camera and unplug it, it won't shake that way." But you know what I mean? It's just those little things you gotta know. It's just those hours. You got to put in the hours to understand those problems.
In respect to this videographer, it said they did their hours. They watched YouTube, how to work it and do all these things, and they tested it and paired it and did all the checklist, and then it just didn't work. Again, wireless systems.
And here come those Facebook warriors like YouTube University. It's
YouTube
like, oh,
University. And although I think all of the like wireless series now, they record internally as well. And most people will say that. Well, wireless systems are great, but you know, what you're saying is wrong. You can always record internally as a backup. And sure, great, fine. But just
even if we're using wireless mics, Nate and I would still have backups to that.
Yeah.
Whether it's the F3 plugged into the board or even like the Sony TX660 on the mic, like we'd always have double sources just in case.
Just seen too many things of them going wrong. Again, for content creators, vloggers, fine. Yeah. Absolutely. Preach.
Right. And we've also been a part of weddings where we didn't have a wireless system going and the DJ's booth still was cutting in and out for whatever reason.
Right.
So you still have to be ready for that.
Either way. You got to have backups and more backups for audio.
Yep.
Well, kudos for putting in the work, but sorry it happened.
I'm sure you learned from it.
Yeah.
And drop the roads, honestly, for weddings.
Tascam or the Zoom.
Our take.
Yep.
The new Tascam Pros are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
All right. I filmed my first from a videographer. I filmed my first wedding this past week. Congratulations.
Very much so.
Got the camera and everything was going well, or so I thought. The next day after the wedding, I was going through all my footage and I captured sorry. Sorry. I started like laughing because I know where this is going. I started like reading ahead in my mind. I was like, oh,
this guy's done.
All right. The next day after the wedding, I was going through all my footage I captured, and the only sound I captured throughout the whole wedding ceremony and reception was just some fuzziness. The bride asked me to capture sound. I could care less about the actual video. Just give me some good sound. I feel terrible. I dropped the ball and let her and her husband down. What do you do?
I could care less about the actual video.
I don't even know what could have caused that.
Yeah.
I would need to know your setup, but that sucks, man.
Maybe, yeah.
That sucks.
Well, yeah, I wonder what recorder
There's
they were using.
There's nothing worse. Audio aside, there's nothing worse than when a client requests a specific thing.
And you drop the ball.
And you don't deliver.
Yep.
One of my first out-of-state weddings, the bride requested a wide shot of her venue, which you'd think I would get. We just didn't get it for some reason. And she asked about it, and I just felt so bad.
Yeah.
You know, I just
the whole video can be perfect, and then that one thing that they requested is not there, and that's all they're gonna ask. So it kind of ruins the whole video. Yeah, wonder what would have caused that. I can only imagine something was plugged in wrong or incorrect channel or something like that, or a bad cable.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh man,
you should own up to it too. You should own up to it and say, it's my first wedding. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know what happened. I'm still learning my camera gear.
But again, kudos for doing audio on your first wedding. That's
I know. Is she asking for like candid audio?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Maybe. But again,
because you wouldn't be relying on your camera for like the main audio, like the ceremony and stuff.
No, yeah, I don't.
Unless you were recording internally using wireless mics. Is this the same video?
Same wedding, just different time. I don't know. Yeah, you just got to have backups again, backups. You got to have the field recorder. You got to have your lav. Yeah, your Tascams, whatever.
That's
dang. Yeah, well, again,
that's tough.
The fastest way to learn is through those mistakes. And these people, again, probably never made these mistakes ever again. Mm-hmm. Dang.
Agreed.
You hate to see it.
And always bring crappy. I mean, I have these crappy white headphones that we bring to every wedding.
Yep.
Just have something to plug in to listen to, just to make sure. Do a test shot always. Yep. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, man.
It's one of those things that it's an easy fix.
It's
it's not. It's so worth bringing some headphones, doing a test shot, because once it's fixed for good. But then, like you said, you go through the whole day and there's nothing to use. So
yeah, it hurts reading these because we've all felt that pit in your stomach just knot up. Oh, yeah. You just hate that feeling. So just seeing everyone experience this, just if it's any comfort, we've all felt this. We've all done something that makes us feel just terrible, and life moves on. A client most times, like that first story we read, most times you can, still make face and make a great edit, and clear communication with the client needs to be in order to undo this massive dropping of the ball. But
yeah,
I'd say most times you can still leave with a positive experience and happy clients.
I think Nate and I are so stressed about dropping the ball, we have backups for when we do,
Yeah.
not if we do.
Yeah.
Like the most recent one I can think of was this year or last year, I guess. I reverse recorded the first, like the bride coming down the aisle on the groom camera.
Yeah.
I literally I didn't hit record
Dude.
on the shot of the groom's reaction watching his bride, but again, to count, we make sure that there's 2 other cameras in case that happens.
I will say,
and we made the edit work.
I will say I have never wait, what was I trying to say there? I will say I have never reverse recorded more in my life than with the C70. Do you feel me on that?
Yeah. We need, yes, agreed. We need to get that update, the firmware update, where when you hit record, it has the red box around it. Like
Right.
Sony.
It's just something with the record, but there's a little lag time when you end a recording
sticky.
and then you hit it again. You need to wait like 3 seconds. And
I do want that firmware update though,
Yeah.
so there's never a doubt.
right. Absolutely.
I love that Sony has that option.
Yeah. Yeah. And the R8 has that actually. Do you notice that?
Yep.
Yeah, it is
One of
nice.
the first times I actually reverse recorded was
On a Sony.
I learned what that term meant. Was I was filming for Parker in Hawaii, my very first gig with him really for Hyundai, and we were going down a zip line, and he wanted me to film on my iPhone, like him going on the zip line holding a red, and I reverse recorded the whole thing. So,
Did
was
you
like,
do
wow.
the zip line again? Because I've seen that shot.
no, it was like the main part, the coolest part, the river, and then after that we get again, but it wasn't as cool. So most of his footage is him, his camera footage.
Because I have seen where he's hanging upside down with the red in his hand.
Yep.
Oh, dang. Yeah.
But yeah, took a few takes.
Yep.
So that's where I learned what the term reverse recording.
Hey, we all
was.
do it.
He's like, you
We've
idiot.
all done it. We all have done it. In fact, yeah,
right.
a classic part in our Through the Lens trailer is me telling you, yeah, I actually reverse recorded from there to there. I missed a huge chunk of like a 1 minute walk from the.
Luckily, that walk was 5 miles long, and you captured 3 out of the 5 of those
we only
miles.
needed a little bit, yeah, but I did reverse record a little bit of it. Yeah, we all do
But
it.
it just stresses you out.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And reading all of these stories, I am actually reminded of my biggest dropping of the ball, if you want to hear it. You've actually already heard this, Jacob.
I'm so excited.
Um,
I want our editor to clip this story and post it everywhere.
just cancel me. Okay. Well, this is my story of dropping the ball. If you've ever filmed in Utah, there are a lot of LDS weddings, right? Jacob and I, we have filmed lots and lots of LDS temple weddings. And there are a lot of temples. I lived in Draper at the time. There's a Draper temple.
Oh, boy.
There's a Salt Lake temple. There's Provo, Orem. There's multiple temples within 15 minutes of each other. Okay. So
15 minutes is an exaggeration.
no,
All distinguishable.
No.
Go on.
There's Draper and then there's Jordan River. That's 15 minutes right there. Okay. And then,
Soft 20.
it depends on how fast, if you're driving. Yeah. But this was one of my best friends. Okay. At the time, I can say their names. His name is Carter. Okay. Carter's my boy. Grew up with him and I filmed his wedding. This was that wedding I was telling you about in the previous episode of I filmed a really close friends and all my other buddies were part of the bridal party and I was just kind of left out the whole day.
It's a bad day for you.
No, it was a great day. It was a fun day being there, but I filmed for Carter. I don't remember the month. Let's just say it was June. Okay. He sends me the itinerary, a couple months before, and he says, "This is what my wedding day looks like. I'm getting sealed in the Salt Lake Temple at 10 a.m. And then we have a luncheon in Draper at, 3 p.m. And then we're doing the reception in that same spot in Draper the rest of the night." So I'm like, cool, locked in. The whole wedding happens for Carter. It's a great day. That all happens. Lovely. Okay. Now, they're very close family friends. So his sister was getting married the next month. Okay. It was a big couple months for this family. They send me the itinerary and it is carbon copy, exact copy of the same itinerary. They're getting married at 10 a.m. They're having the reception at the same spot in Draper at 3 p.m. And then they're having the reception right after. Okay. The only exception was the temple.
One major exception.
The only exception was the temple. Okay. My buddy.
At LDS weddings, by the way, you guys, there's really only 2 events that happen the entire day.
Yes. Yeah. The absolute biggest part. This is like the ceremony, the first kiss, basically. The only difference was that they were going to be getting married at the Draper Temple and not the Salt Lake Temple like Carter, my friend, had the month before. Okay. I said, great. I got it. I put it in my calendar, whatever. The morning of the wedding, I wake up and me being an idiot, college student, I just didn't even think about it. I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to go and just going to rinse and repeat what I did the previous month with Carter. Okay. I looked at my
This is Nate's old organizational skills lab.
It was much better now. Okay. And I wake up and I just drive on off to Salt Lake and I get there. And the funniest thing is I got there and I thought, I remember the day exactly. It was this overcast.
Knowing Nate, he was probably there 5 minutes past his time. He should have been
No.
there.
Let me stop you right there. I showed up an hour and a half before the actual sealing. And
Yes.
No, I'm dead serious. I'm dead
believe
serious,
you.
Jake. I am dead serious on this one. An hour and a half before the actual sealing, because back then I always showed up at least like an hour early because I was so scared. Back then, yes, because I was always so scared of not getting those detail shots of the temple. I used to go hard on those things. So I showed up an hour and a half before the actual sealing, which, again, if you have filmed an LDS wedding, that's like, you're not seeing the couple for 2.5 hours. And I show up, it's this overcast day, and I'm on my game. It was one of those things where the first shot I took was just beautiful. And I remember saying to myself out loud, wow.
Classic example of what Nate was saying earlier, how the videographer stories justify so much before
This is a
they
huge
actually
backstory.
express the fumble of the bag. I was killing it. I was doing so good. There was a carbon copy,
Dude,
I swear to God.
I swear.
And I was just,
yeah,
I was there 2 hours
absolutely.
early.
Hey, absolutely. I'm
Nate's never been
defending
2 hours
myself.
early to anything in his entire life.
Absolutely. I was an hour and a half early, okay? And the first shot, I remember saying out loud to myself, man, it is going to be a great day. I'm on my game, okay? Now, fast forward an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it was, and they're coming out of the temple, okay? All the family is coming out before the couple themselves come out the doors and everyone's cheer. So as the family is coming out, my buddy Carter texted me and he said, hey, we're coming out the doors. Do you want to come over and film them leaving or coming out and doing the first kiss? So I'm like, absolutely. And I'm probably
The only shot really needed.
the only shot of the day that you need.
The guy has to remind, hey,
No, he said, hey, we're coming out right now. And I'm like, okay, sick. I was probably a couple hundred yards away and I look over while I'm still on the phone. I'm like, okay, I think I see you guys. And I saw a huge family walking out, assumed it was them. And I walk over to the spot where the couple is going to walk out and do their first kiss. And as I'm sitting there, it is a massive family of just Samoans. And these are not Samoan people that I'm filming. And the dots click. And I can't tell you, the dots connect and my stomach drops. And I realize, oh my goodness, I think I'm at the wrong temple. And I pull out my phone, open my calendar, and in all caps, like I had put it, Draper Temple. And my stomach,
which is
man,
like a 25-minute drive.
Oh yeah, easy 25, 30 minutes. And at that moment, I can't tell you how fast I started sprinting and just cursing myself out, just on holy grounds, running. And
Also, at this same time, I get a call.
yeah, I call you, I call Samuel.
Jake, what are you doing right now? And I'm filming a wedding. What are you doing right now? I need you to go to Draper and film an exit. I'm like, I can't, my guy.
I can't, I'm sorry.
I can't.
And yeah,
I'm at my temple, the correct one, where I should be.
yeah, I dropped the ball big time. And so while I'm
wild.
speeding there, I call Carter and I tell him. And then luckily, they are really good family friends. So they were very nice. I showed up and they're like, hey, it's okay. Calm down. We're good. Deep breath. It's all good. And we ended up kind of like faking it later on and it worked out. But man, it was terrible. Never showed up to the wrong
never
venue
made a
again.
mistake again.
No, yep, never again. You make a mistake once, you never make it again.
And, that story is pretty lengthy. The point was that Nate
That I did.
just misread and ruined someone's day.
Yeah, the TLDR is that I woke up and I didn't check the
Nate just
location
gave us this whole
that I put
backstory
in.
about I filmed the brother's wedding.
It
and
needed a
was cool,
backstory.
and they're
It needed a
homies.
backstory to justify
It didn't.
why
It did not need a backstory.
I went to the wrong temple. Okay, I'm sorry. Sue me. Lock me up.
It's just annoying because if you're at the temple, you have to run to the parking lot, which is like
It's
a
years
10-minute
away.
run.
Yeah.
Then 30 minutes to get out of Salt Lake
Yeah.
into Draper.
Yep.
And were you living in Draper at the
I
time?
was. No, I was in Orem.
So you were
no,
like,
I was in Orem.
Oh, okay, Provo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say if you were in Draper, Nate lives
Yeah.
like 5 minutes away from that temple.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I never made that mistake again. So
Luckily, and that's Nate's story with that. Honestly, scared me when he called me, because I think that same year, I don't know if I should name her name, but one of our friends had flown into the wrong city.
The day of.
The morning
Yeah.
of the wedding?
Yep. Like 10 hours away.
Yeah, and so Nate and I always, I've always been stressed about that happening. It's always been a true fear of mine. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things I double, triple, quadruple check
Yeah.
because of all my friends have.
Except on the drive home. Remember when you drove to the wrong airport in Iowa?
That was
Okay.
sue me.
There's two
We were
airports.
literally
Jake. There's
staying
two
in a
airports.
place in Iowa, and there's two
There's
airports,
two airports, Jake.
and they're both equidistant from our
but
location.
vastly
So, of
different
course,
names.
When I searched airport
Unique
near
names.
me, one had the word municipal in it, and one had domestic in it.
Very
And so
different
I just go to the
names.
first one, and we missed our flight, and we got stuck.
You
there
probably
for
used
10
Apple
hours.
Maps too.
Yeah, Google Maps was the same thing.
No,
There were two airports equidistant, and I just clicked the first one. Like, that's the one.
Yeah. So, but you went to the
Wrong
wrong
one.
airport. Went to the wrong airport.
But it led to this time of you and I being
Stuck in an airport
together
for
in
10
Iowa.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was on the way home. We weren't missing anything. You had nobody back then either. What were you complaining?
Shoot, I had to get back to my life. Come on, I had people to see,
Got
things
studies.
to do. I had some roommates to hang out with.
I got smoothies to Vitamix.
Hey, I was a busy guy. Come on.
All right. Next one.
That-
I'm gonna read this one since you had a good
wait,
story.
do we have more? I thought we only had 3.
We have 2 more.
Wait.
The breaking your gear.
Oh, we're doing that today. Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, we're doing
Gotcha.
that.
Okay. Yeah, breaking your gear.
We had a category, you guys, a subgenre called breaking gear, but we thought it's kind of the same thing as dropping the ball.
Yeah.
So, all right, it's from a videographer. We were wrapping up the night with a sparkler exit. I positioned my lights outside. Note here is they are heavy-duty 12-foot light stands with 20-pound sandbags on them. The sparkler exit went great, but when it was time for everyone to go inside to grab their belongings, I went to grab my lights, and in slow motion, I watched the drunk as a skunk guest knock over my light. It hits the ground, then a different drunk guest knocks over the second one. Thankfully, Aperture makes lights that are built like tanks, but scary moment nonetheless. I was hoping this light stand would fall onto a kid, but that's just me. That is scary, especially with 12-foot light stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You always got to be watching. Those still scare me, but even with the 20-pound sandbags, that's
Yeah.
How?
I mean, we use crappy,
Yeah,
dinky
never had 'em
7-foot
fall.
light stands with heavy lights that
wind?
could topple over with the gust of wind.
yeah.
And so, props to you for doing
Props
that.
to the drunk person for probably sprinting into the light.
Drunk as a skunk is fun.
That is a good one.
I like that.
The odds of
Drunk's a
two,
skunk.
man, if 2 people walked into my lights, that's where I would be like, all right, this is either completely my fault or completely theirs.
Yeah, there's nothing you really could down there.
Yeah. Maybe
I
they
assume
placed
your
the
lights were in
lights.
good spots.
Well.
Drunk guests are just like, it's just like we all just have to deal with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could go off for hours about my hatred for drunk guests ruining weddings.
Do you remember that wedding we filmed a couple of months ago with the sparkler exit and everyone was just plastered and we had the wedding planner's helper trying to just scream, tell everyone what they're doing. And they started doing the poppers
stressful.
way before because someone walked out and it wasn't the couple and they were too drunk to know and they just,
They all did the poppers.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
yeah,
I can't even. Don't get me started.
yeah, I agree.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
All right, Nathan, last story of the day.
All right, here we go. Topping it off. This is from a videographer, a short one. This says, I bought a brand new 24 to 70 millimeter. Let me start over because I got tongue twisted trying to insert words that weren't there. Okay. I bought a brand new 24 to 70. Then while walking out from the car, the bottom of the box opened. Wait, so this is fresh out the lot. The box opened up and the lens dropped out onto the sidewalk of all places from like 4 to 5 feet high. Completely broken, and I haven't had a 24 to 70 since, which has probably been the most, probably had a negative impact on my films. Man.
Send it in to be fixed. What's the problem?
That's out of a movie. Just someone just super
I'm so
happy.
excited.
Yeah. Done. Walks out. Bottom of it opens.
Oh, I can't wait to use this.
Is it not wrapped
sucks.
in all this bubble wrap though? Like, how does that? I don't get it.
Yeah, I think there's some liberties being said here.
Yeah,
but
something-
either way, it sucks.
I'm guessing they opened it
We've
up
broken
in
gear.
the shop.
Well, Nate's broken
Hold
a lot
up.
of gear.
Hold on. we have broken gear. I won't say I haven't because I know I have.
Nate-
but
Nate
you
drops gear like
that
I'm
is
being- like
not
he's being
true.
paid
That
to
is
drop
not
gear.
true. I can hear the GM85
Nate-
still screaming, Jake. From that,
one
time
was
you were
wild.
just walking around, go bam.
Guys, I
Didn't attach
I
it to
have
the
one
tripod.
tripod head, or I have one tripod head. Well, I had one tripod head.
had one
when it doesn't the tightener that tightens the quick release plate onto the head was bent, and so I didn't tighten it all the way, and so I slung the tripod over my shoulder with the Sony on it, 85, brand new by the way, and we were walking across this grassy field.
We were walking.
And
We're
back to the-
walking.
the-
We're
the
walking
field
through.
was fully grass.
It was, and you were walking on the sidewalk.
Yeah. And there was this one piece of sidewalk.
it was
and
a
I
full
chose
strip.
To walk, and I wasn't. We were following the sidewalk.
No,
I
we
walked
were
across
following
the
the
sidewalk.
sidewalk. We were
All right,
following
fine.
the sidewalk.
Tomato. I was on the sidewalk. That small patch, the whole field,
Crucial
and
part
then
of the story.
the thing slid off. And I just hear it slide off. And you know that feeling.
This is a 6-foot
You
drop.
and you know that feeling when the tripod just gets lighter because you're having it on your shoulder, and it just kind of like lifts up. You're like, oh no, and just hear. And I look down, and the 85 lens had bent in. The stabilization was gone, and it couldn't be used.
I'll never forget that. Me and Samuel Hansen are walking behind you, and we see it, and Sam's face was just jaw on the
Sam hates.
jaw on
Sam
the
hates how we
floor.
treat gear. Yeah. So Sam's never let me rent gear from him ever since.
Yeah.
But it was a $400 fix, which sucks, but it got fixed.
Yeah. No.
But that was more about a broken piece of gear breaking other pieces of gear more than it was about my
No. Yeah.
negligence.
See, I think it's funny because every time you've broken gear, it's been because of a broken piece of gear.
Yeah.
You've never just been like, no, it was my
Correct.
fault.
Correct.
No, it always.
Correct.
I've seen it, Jay. I saw.
Correct.
I've seen every single one with my own eyes.
In Venice,
I've seen.
in Venice,
I saw it with my own eyes. You didn't. You
in
didn't
Venice,
attach it.
my camera
You didn't
was
attach
perfectly
it.
attached.
No,
because it was working all day.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
working
It was
all
a
day
perfectly
on a
fine
strap.
piece of gear.
Yeah, and then it just broke.
No, that doesn't just happen. You didn't do anything to
That's
it.
what I'm saying. It shouldn't just
you
happen
didn't
like
attach
that.
it.
But no, it was attached all day. It was working fine.
Exactly. It was a fine piece of gear.
And then it just fell
Without
off.
doing anything to it. Come on. That
I
doesn't
wasn't
happen.
doing anything to it.
Exactly. It was a fine
It did
piece of
happen.
gear.
It literally
I
happened.
saw it with my own eyes.
It literally happened.
And I just have. Hey,
Says the guy who flies a drone into a mountain. How does a mountain come out of nowhere, Nate? How is a mountain?
I didn't
Nathan,
break the gear.
My,
I didn't
my
break the
sense,
gear.
I can see.
I didn't break.
I can see invisible strands of wire, and I can dodge them with the drone. That's how attuned I am. You see a mountain. A mountain.
guys, this will always be my downfall. Is that Jake has had 1 million close calls with the drone, and by close calls I mean centimeters.
I mean
Centimeters,
razor
like
blade
the skin of your teeth from hitting a
Yeah.
substantially big or troublesome object. Millions of calls. I've had 0 close calls.
Substantially big is.
No.
It's usually
No.
like a small flagpole
No,
or a tree branch.
There,
or
that
a
was
wire,
not a
and
small
I have
flagpole.
I have
That
the
was not a
sense
small flagpole.
to dodge it.
No. I was there for that flagpole.
Flagpoles are all the same
No,
size.
we were both watching the screen, and we see this massive flag go across the screen.
I'm not even kidding. It was
And we're
like it. Think of like the circumference of a flagpole. Like what? Like I don't know. Think of the girth. It's you can put both hands around it. It covered the entire frame. That's how close I was. Like the camera was fully blocked by a flagpole.
we were both.
That's how
It
close
was
I
funny
was.
because we were both watching the screen too. Like, wow, this is such a good shot.
This is the best shot of the night.
And then this massive pole. Yeah, but I've had 0 close
But
calls, but I
point
hit
of
a
the story
mountain.
is I didn't.
Yeah, no, and I
Nate-
did. I'll own up
Oh
to
no,
it.
man! The mountain just like came out of nowhere.
Okay, all right. I was.
And I didn't even have sport mode on. I was a neutral. Like, how do you crash it with the sensors working?
Okay, you filmed in the valleys, right? They're wide valleys. You always have more space than you think. And I went down the valley, and I was coming back, and I was parallaxing, shooting one side of the valley in sport mode, and there was a part of the mountain that jutted out, and I torched it just right into it. But I didn't break the drone. It didn't break.
Jutted out.
It
is his
didn't
defense.
break. It didn't break, Jacob.
Yeah.
So it's a different conversation.
Yeah, the other time where you broke gear
Was my Ronin.
but I actually just had the exact same thing happen to me, Nathan, in Vegas, where
Really?
because you always carry your Ronin down, and the D-Link switch is right by your thumb, and I didn't have my camera on it. I just was walking to the car with the gear on carpet, and
fell
the
out.
top of my Ronin just like fell off because my thumb must have hit the
See,
switch.
that's the-
it's super
that's
easy
the
to
thing,
do.
though.
But Nate had his whole rig on, so we're just walking. It was the weekend was done. We were just getting B-roll,
Yeah.
like we were just having fun, and then we just hear this like the loudest drop, and we both just went, oh, it
Yeah,
was so
broke,
painful.
yeah.
You just hear
But
it. It's just a sad
The
sound.
thing is, where I hold my Ronin, when I hold it down, my thumb isn't even close to that switch. So it must have just been getting
have
loose
been.
throughout the day.
Oh, your gear must have just broke.
Yeah, my gear broke.
I can relate to that.
No,
I can relate.
No, it's fully my fault. It was fully my fault for not
here we
checking.
go. Here we
Okay?
go.
But moral of the story is, we've both broken gear, Jacob. You've broke gear.
I'd say you more than me. I'd say you have your reputation. I say
That is
the
not
king of
true. That is
breaking-
not true. Not at all. Do you want me to give you the most
Bro, text the
recent
friends
event?
right now and say if
Let me give you the most recent event of our relationship with gear, Jacob. We're in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and we're walking back, and I'm like, oh, I see a shot. I'm gonna get it. And I had the 12 millimeter in my hands, and I had my gimbal in the other. So I put the 12 millimeter on a seat, couple feet high, and it rolls off.
I'm excited for you to tell the
Yeah.
story so I can completely
No, absolutely.
destroy
No,
the
yeah.
story.
Okay, so I put the 12 millimeter
Nate
on the story.
balances a lens on a armrest. Just
It was
balances
the
thing.
seat. It
And
was not
I
the
just-
armrest.
if a gust of wind, a whisper would have pushed that thing
It was
off.
around it.
And sure enough,
It was a rounded seat. Okay, I put it on the seat.
you didn't put it in the cup holder.
They didn't have a cup holder.
It was rounded. It was rounded.
On the seat part,
ways, so
where
if you-
people sit their butts. But I
he
did
put it on
I
the
did mess
armrest.
up, and I put it like barrel side down so it could roll instead of placing it down. Okay, and I get the shot, and the lens rolled off the seat, and it's fine. Okay, and Jake sits there like, yeah, I saw
Nate
it.
had also asked me to grab it while I was carrying a billion other things.
Yeah. Okay, so I dropped it. Okay,
lens is
Yeah, the
fine.
lens is fine.
The lens is-
Jake let me hear it. Yeah, I saw you drop that 12 millimeter. The guy who always breaks lenses. Okay, I eat it because I'm like, yeah, I messed up. The next day, Jacob drops my 18 to 35, which is now broken. Do you remember that, Jake? Do you remember that? It doesn't work now.
No,
You dropped my 18
know
to
what I dropped.
35.
I don't remember
No,
that.
you did in the moment.
When?
The next day, you said, yeah, I dropped your 18 to 35. And we both laughed about it because we thought it worked. But now I've tested it, and the manual focus doesn't work.
Oh yeah, it doesn't zoom.
Yeah, no, it doesn't manual focus. The manual focus ring doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you manual focus?
Not a bunch, but still, the principle stands.
Yeah, I mean that's a piece of crap lens.
There's the
Daddy will buy you a
excuse.
new
Yeah,
one.
that's fine. That's not a good lens anyway.
No, yeah, no. Well, I'd say the king of breaking gears. I think you definitely have a higher
Man, not a chance.
a higher rap sheet.
Not a
I
chance.
think the king. If we're talking just broadly, it's Landon.
Oh, Landon's terrible. with
Landon
gear.
has a reputation to break anything he's given.
absolutely.
So we never give him gear.
Absolutely.
And I'll even just tell him to his face, like I used to like make excuses like, "Oh, I'm using it, bro," but now I'm just like, "No,
Yeah. No.
No.
Don't.
I want this piece of gear."
Yeah,
so
don't
I don't
let
want you to.
Landon rent the gear. Yeah, the drone at the salt flats, that was a rough one. The ND
Yeah.
filters,
Oh,
yeah,
always.
all shot. Yep. Yeah. Wow. How long? Yeah, that was a long tangent, wasn't it?
Gear, dropping the ball with gear does suck.
Yeah.
We had a friend who they'll never submit the story anonymously, so because they won't, I'll just call them out by name. Put their tripods fell over during the ceremony, which was hilarious. The wind. Sam, was it Sam or Dallin? Sam, it was Sam's wedding, but Dallin shot with them.
Was
and
it? I thought
Dallin
it was
saw all
Dallin's
happening.
wedding and Sam. I don't
I
remember.
think it was Sam. So I was giving Sam a lot more crap.
No,
for
because
than
it was a
Dallin.
travel wedding, and Sam doesn't travel, right? Wasn't it
No,
travel?
it wasn't. It was.
I thought it was Idaho.
It was up at a lodge. No, it was up in no.
Oh,
But I remember Dallin's like watching it happen, but it was Sam's.
yeah.
Yeah. Be careful with your gear,
careful
guys.
with your gear.
Don't drop the ball.
Don't drop the ball.
Luckily, none of our gear dropping has ever ruined a wedding, though.
Right.
Like, it's never resulted in
They've
like
all,
a problem.
yeah, they've all happened at
adapt to.
convenient times, I would say, if there is a convenient time. But yeah,
Yeah.
it sucks nonetheless.
one time actually, Emma and Wade just keep coming up
Wow.
at their
Did we
wedding.
break here?
It was the last time I was using a duffel bag for my sticks, and I put my glide cam in it. It's back in my glide cam days. And we opened the sticks bag at the wedding, and my glide cam was snapped in half. Remember that?
Oh, I do remember that actually. Yeah.
like the shaft had literally
Yeah.
like bent in half and snapped.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And it takes a lot of
That's
effort
a lot.
to
Yeah,
break.
a lot of pressure.
And we both started looking at it. I'm like, how did this even happen?
TSA
And so I
agents.
went handheld that entire day on the
The
1D3.
TSA agents, man, they were having a sword fight with that thing.
It was weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do
Anyway,
remember that.
You guys,
Wow,
if you have funny gear stories or dropping the ball, submit them below.
we'd love to hear 'em.
Nathan, yeah, we can go back and forth all day.
Do you want to make this an hour and a half long podcast?
I really don't.
Yeah.
All right. Any closing remarks?
Any closing remarks? Unless I do want this podcast to go an hour and a half, then no closing remarks.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Guys, if you're not already, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscription. That'd be awesome. And we'll catch you in the next one.